Great Talk and Entertainment. I am your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where we review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to Great Talk and Entertainment. Hit that notification button so you can always be updated with the latest content. And please share with your friends and family who are a fan of hearing reviews from all the latest TV shows and movies of today, baby. Let's go. Now, as I'm continuing on the new Disney Plus series by Marvel, Hawkeye, we're on episode 4. And as I review episode 4, this is a spoiler, like I always say, throughout the whole season of any Marvel show on Disney Plus. I will be doing strictly a spoiler alert, so if you have not seen it, go watch the show and then come back. Because like I said, I'm only doing these reviews as spoilers as well. Because I just don't have time to do non-spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, this is your warning. So let's get into it, baby. Now in episode 4, this is not a action-packed adventure level from the last episode. This is more of a vigilante slash spy feel. And the one thing that made me really enjoy this episode was that Hawkeye and Kate's relationship is, on this episode, they're showing more of a mentorship. And at the same time, they're showing some scenes where the student teaches the teacher a few things. And the one thing you're seeing is and this is my second reason that I really enjoyed this episode, and I would say this would be like one of the main reasons why I'm definitely enjoying the Hawkeye series is in episode 4, they're making us realize that Hawkeye, he is remembering Natasha, aka Black Widow, and what is really so cool about this, and it's kind of heart-touching as well, but this is my one reason why I enjoy it, is because every time he looks at Kate reminds of Natasha, and that's very important because throughout this whole Phase 4 and Phase 5 coming up next year, or maybe it isn't next year, I'm not sure, but anyway, so when we get to like Phase 4 and then Phase 5, of course, is a lot of it is about Iron Man, aka Tony Stark, Thanos, mostly Thanos. But with the new release of the Black Widow film, we see that, Kate and Hawkeye are trying to do the polar opposites of everything. And what I mean by that is like he's trying to push Kate away because after this event he can't really move on, and it's hard for him to grieve because he lives by a code where he don't show his emotions. And of course he has a family to protect and all that. And when he went wrong, he just feels so guilty about it. It's like he needs like a forgiveness, but he's also punishing himself. While the world does not know that he's Rowan, but he's also a very well avenger who gives the people hope. And he is having this huge battle while Kate is trying so hard to become an avenger, become a superhero or a vigilante, and she's going in this very careless and clueless not clueless, but lack of experience and maybe a little bit of trauma. Yeah, I know, and she lost her dad in the first Avengers movie, where we learned that there was a young Kate Bishop at that time in Phase 1, which is crazy. And I know that's very traumatizing, and losing somebody you love is very difficult, but in this, for the sake of this story of the show, is that she lacks the experience of just doing what the Avengers have done, what Hawkeye has done, and she is battling the pretty much the truth of that. And she's really scared, and she's not as good, and she makes rookie mistakes or newbies, whatever you want to call it. But you see the unique dynamic versions of them. They're like yin and yang. And another thing what I really enjoy this is that they're learning from each other in a way which is really cool. And I think that this helps the audience connect to these two characters, especially since they're not as like popular in a way. I mean, they're getting popular now, obviously, but they're not like, you never say, who's your favorite superhero? It's always Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. But now, a couple generations down, they're going to be saying Hawkeye's my favorite superhero. And that's Marvel Studios' goal with that, to have the show, of course. But going on is they're expanding the MCU because they're also on this episode. They're giving us huge surprises, from, Elena from Black Widow. She appeared at the end of the episode, and, that explains what passing the torch of certain mantles. So here's a fun clue that I noticed in that episode. Kate asks Hawkeye, like, hey, what was your best shot? And he goes, the one I never took. And he was referring to Natasha. And, she kept saying, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he just got upset about it because in the past he was set to, assassinate her or something. And, he let her go. He put the arrow down. He didn't shoot her. And in this episode, you see that with Kate Bishop and Elena. And I just think that's really cool. It's like, like I said, this is, hinting to a Young Avengers maybe show or movie, whatever they go. But there is I can see so far there is going to be some version of the Young Avengers, which would be really cool, obviously. And just going back to the ending of the scene, you notice that Echo, Maya Lopez, her and Hawkeye can handle like that electric taser thing from Elena, which is very odd. I just wonder how they did it. I don't know if they were just very well trained, but to me, I see that I think Echo, during her probably preteens, teenager life, she might have been trained by the Black Widow and, sent down to work for whoever's behind the main scene, which in this film we discover that, that Jack is giving the mafia suits some money, and Kate and Hawkeye have to figure that out, obviously, but there's a lot of this episode left us with a lot of questions, and the one question I want to know is what makes this Rolex watch so important? And we discover that Hawkeye's wife, Laura, is a life where she was like a spy or maybe a Black Widow herself, or maybe she used to be a former member of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but we never knew that. And I saw this meme on Facebook where it had that episode, that particular scene, and Tony Stark's in the Avengers Age of Ultron. They had a picture of that scene, and Tony's like, is she some sort of spy? Well, we come out she is a spy. We just don't know who she was working for or what. But this is like, this adds more layers to the character that we known since, Age of Ultron and throughout other Marvel films with Hawkeye and stuff. But this is like crazy. Like, through phase one, she's been on the end. She like knows everything that's been going on. Like, she's honestly, if I had to play a safe bet, I would say she was a former member of S.H.I.E.L.D., so she knows Nick Fury, and boy, they kept that from us. But that is so cool because in this episode they were speaking German. Laura, his wife, was Hawkeye's wife, and she was asking about the Avenger compound, and we learned that some stuff got stolen, and there was this Rolex watch that she thought that was destroyed, but we come to find out it wasn't, and it was at the Avengers compound. So what makes this watch so important? Well, it has some type of it's like a key to some important files, or it has a little microchip in there with some important data of files or information of whatever it may be. And the two theories that I thought of, well, not two, but let's say three. I have three theories that I just want to share that what I think that Rolex watch may lead us to. One, I think it has something to do with Iron Man. I believe that, in theory, that this watch either is the key to find where all the hidden Iron Man suits that Tony Stark may or may not have destroyed or gotten rid of, or just because I know there's going to be an Ironheart series on the Disney Plus, it has the blueprints to learn how to make an Iron Man suit, especially with the nanotech. And why I would think that, because one, there was a watch and it was an Avengers compound, and I think that, since this is more, they're going back to phase one, that means they're going back to Iron Man in a way. So there was some stuff that Tony Stark had hidden, and there was people throughout since phase one that were looking for certain that Iron Man may or may not have. But the point is, there's some stuff out there that we never knew about, and now they're just unfolding in this current phase, which is really neat. My second theory is Captain America. I think this could be the key to where Captain America is hidden at. Old man Steve Rogers, that's what everybody's saying. Or two, this is to have the secret formula to make the Winter Soldier or another Captain America, because I was thinking, man, he did go back in his timeline, so maybe out in his new timeline, he discovered what was the ingredients in formula, because he's, like I say, he's staying in the timeline. So I wonder what was the ingredients to make that the super soldier serum. So maybe it's that, because those are the only two there's the only two Avengers I can see wearing the Rolex. I mean, any of the Avengers can wear a Rolex watch. I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just saying that those are the main two I would think. And then the third one, I would say it's a scroll. There's something with the scroll, because we know next year we're going to get the Marvel's Secret Invasion starring Nick Fury, aka Samuel Jackson. That's what I think, and I just think that has something to do with the scrolls and the Creed too. I mean, because we know there's been a lot of scrolls. We know there's a lot of Creed. So I just wonder, is this the time? Because they haven't really really dug deep into their origin story. They never really gave us a lot of scenes of scrolls, just in Captain Marvel. And then like at the end of the WandaVision series, on the last episode, we see a scroll, but that was about it. Like, we know we know that they're there. We just don't know who's the scroll. But that's the safe one I would go with. Definitely about that watch. I bet that watch was like Nick Fury's or whatever, because they said that this could blow somebody's cover who hasn't been in the game, but if their cover gets blown, then they're screwed. And it's probably Nick Fury, because Nick Fury is up in outer space, and he hasn't been seen by anybody on Earth. So everybody's wondering, and like Hydra people ain't dead. There's still some around, and now with new gangs, and now Sharon Carter, everybody's looking for Nick Fury, and they can't find him. And maybe this watch has the key to find him, or to locate him into like outer space. I mean, he's on a ship, so I can't imagine what would they do if they found out that he's out there. But that's what I'm thinking. I would like it to be the first two theories, but I get the idea of, okay, this could be just a nod off to Marvel's Secret Invasion. This is the watch, aka the key, the information to find Nick Fury, because people are looking for him. And I can see that. Let's talk about Kate Bishop's mother, Eleanor Bishop. So, obviously, she's the one who called the hit on Hawkeye. And I'm just thinking, okay, so who is she connected to? And I'm pretty sure that they're going to combine two characters' origin stories from the comic books and combine them together for Eleanor Bishop. Because I think of certain comic books that had a female who was like the head honcho of a big like mafia group or a drug lord type thing. Besides the king, that's not the kingpin, is obviously a woman, duh. But that's what I think. I think she could be the main one, and I think Jack has his own like idea, and I really like how Jack is acting. He's just acting like it's a normal day, like, oh, it's just Hawkeye, no big deal. He's training normal, but he's on some shady stuff in it, and nobody knows. So so far they haven't hinted that Eleanor and Jack are together or working together. But, we learned that Jack, from Hawkeye's wife, convinced somebody from her home that works in the mafia suit, not works, but is it part of the suit mafia, to turn on their own people to give her that information. That's just amazing. So I just can't imagine what she said or what she did. She did this all the way in her home. And this group is in New York. That's amazing. So we know that Jack is the one that's funding the suit mafia, and it's like, okay, so why? So he purposely, he purposely tried to steal a lot of free antiques without actually paying. And, Hawkeye does get his Rowan sword back. He just slipped it up and took it out of their house. So he's got that, but yet Jack has yet noticed it. So I wonder why. But other than that, I just think this show is really amazing. And the one thing I really like about this episode is they're literally giving Black Widow a really good eulogy just for her death in this in the films and shows, obviously. So this is just really cool. And this is like, man, you know what? I always say this, but this would be my top. If I had a top 5 favorite Marvel Disney Plus shows right now, I would put Hawkeye number 1, and then like low-key, WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I would just, and Marvel What If, but that's how I would do it. It was just so good. This is so good. Do I think? See, now I'm confused. There's a lot of theories. A lot of people are thinking about the Kingpin, but now I lost confidence in the idea of the Kingpin showing up now, because I think they're going a different direction. But I think they're not. They're connecting this show mostly with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and obviously Marvel's Secret Invasion, and a little bit of Spider-Man. So I'm just curious which way they're going, but now I have lost the confidence of believing that Kingpin's gonna show up on this show. Now I just don't think he will at all. I think they're gonna push that like maybe phase 6 or 7. I just know they're gonna push that back far. I mean, I'd be shocked if the Kingpin showed up on this show. Like, I'd be happy, but I'd be shocked. So, I don't really have any more theories right now, but I will on the next review for episode 5, baby. So before I go, I'm giving this show, I'm going to give this show a solid 10. 1 out of 10, I'm giving it 10. It was a great story. Great surprises that I think MCU fans will just really, truly enjoy. And the show is really, just really good. Just really good. And for a Christmas show, all their plots and stories and themes of each episode is so balanced out well. So not too much of this, not too much of that. So that's why I'm really enjoying this show. So that's all. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be up to date with all the latest content. Peace